This is the first YouTube video from Dave and Kevin. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm great, man.
Good. So, hey, Kevin, so with us being the first episode, tell me a little bit about how you got into the Seattle sports scene and being a fan.
Oh, man. I've been a sports fan since I was a kid. I unfortunately, I was born in 1964, so I'm a little old, and I know. But before Seattle didn't have teams, so I was a huge Rams fan and a Dodgers fan because I couldn't stand the Bay Area, so I had to root for the Rams and the Dodgers. As soon as Seattle got sports, I mean, I've always been a Sonics fan since I can remember. But as soon as Seattle got the Seahawks and the Mariners, I've been a diehard fan from day one. I absolutely love both teams. I became a Sounders fan. I know that's
it's a sore subject.
It is a sore subject with one of us.
Right.
I enjoy the Sounders. I'm going to be a big Kraken fan when they start. I even, kind of don't mind the Storms, so I'm just a fan of Seattle sports.
Right.
I grew up on the West Side, and then I moved here 21 years ago. And
we're going to say we're from parts unknown, just going to keep the mystery about things, Kevin.
Oh, well, I'm not saying where I'm from.
All right, there we go.
So, well, what about yourself?
Well, I was born in '68, so I'm way younger than you.
Way younger than me.
I grew up. My dad, in 1976, when I was, barely understood what sports was. He came to me and he said, we have a football team coming, a professional football team coming, and we're going to root for him. And I, my dad, I was not arguing with him. So I said, all right. So the Seahawks came into existence. That was kind of my first, dipping my toe in the sports water. And then in 1979, when the Sonics won the championship, I remember watching that and just being absolutely enthralled with a team that was from the area I grew up in. They had won a championship, and now I was excited and watching the Sonics. I was watching the Seahawks, and Mariners were something that it was an acquired taste. That was a sport I was not very good at, and I really found it to be kind of boring. Baseball, that is, and it took me a while before I actually got into it. And so by the time that I did get into it, man, I appreciated the sports background that I had as far as the Seattle sports, and then seeing what we have had to go through as a Seattle sports fans, to today, and where the Seahawks are, and now the Mariners are making moves, and I agreed. I'm going to be a Kraken fan, and if I had to cheer for a soccer team, it would be the Sounders. Who doesn't love Drew Carey?
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
And then, the Storm, of course, and just a huge fan, and cannot wait for the Sonics to be back in town, if nothing else, so I can have Starbucks again. So,
yeah, I don't know if I want Starbucks that bad. So,
right. So who were some of your sports heroes growing up in as far as the local goes?
Well, I've had a few. I mean, how do you not have multiple sports heroes? I mean, you got the '79 Sounders, or Sonics, like you said, and you can't argue with anybody on the team. I know we're both, downtown Freddie Brown fan.
Jack Sigma.
I mean, but throughout the whole years, I'm a huge Big Smooth fan, man. Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Detlef Shrimp is probably Shrimp. I can never say that word, but he's probably one of my favorite all-time Sonics from the very beginning. As far as the Mariners go, I mean,
The kid.
how
You can't argue with
you can't argue with the kid, but you know, on that team, there's Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, who, in my opinion, is probably the greatest hitter of all time. So, you know, it's hard to. There's so
Randy
many other
Johnson.
people. Randy Johnson, Mike Cameron. I mean,
absolutely. Have you seen? And I
Dan
don't mean to throw us off.
Dan the Man.
Yeah, I don't mean to throw us off kilter, but have you seen the video of when he was at the Diamondbacks and he threw the ball and a bird flew and he killed the bird?
Oh my, yeah, that was incredible.
I only Randy Johnson could throw a heater that'll kill a bird.
Well, one of my favorite comments he ever made was, I don't need a gun for protection. I have a bag of baseballs by my bed. So, you know, and then football. I mean, boy, Jim Zorn, yeah, Largent. You got, I know. I mean, there's so many. Hasselback. I mean, just I could go off a huge list. Red Bryant. I mean, just Jacob Green. I mean, there's so many that you can. We could go on for days just naming players that just outstanding players from every team. I mean, and baseball. I'm the biggest fan as the Mariners from day one. I've been a baseball fan probably since I was 2 years old, 3 years old. So I have a little bit of different background than you did on baseball, but I remember as a kid wanting to go to, you know, Mariners games in the early, you know, in the 70s and 80s. And when I got my chance in the 80s to go to as many games as I did, man, I was there. I mean, we were there during the whole Griffey thing, and some of the games I got to see were incredible over there. I was actually at a Sonics game in triple overtime against Elijah. I mean,
Houston.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I've been a fan forever, and you know, so that's some of my. I know I went on and on and on, but
no, you're fine. You know, I if you know, for me, the guy that you know was my sports hero, if I want to say that, was Largent. To me, he was everything that I was looking up to at that point in time. Yeah, I mean, I love you know, when we play football, I wanted to be a receiver. I wanted to emulate everything he did, and he did it in such a class act way. And he was just so clutch. He would catch everything. When in 1984, when they played against the Dolphins, you know, I will never be so impressed as I was that day watching him just be amazing and clutch. And I loved Largent. It was incredible. He was incredible to watch growing up. And then, you know, Ken Griffey Jr., he pretty much brought home the love for me as far as baseball goes. Once he came in and watching Jay Buhner and him and Randy Johnson, and it was exciting to watch. You know, there will be nothing like one of the only times I saw my father cry was in '95. He's because he was a lifelong Mariners fan as well, and he'd never thought that we would get that far, and then through that comeback, and it was amazing. And then as far as the Sonics go, man, there will be nothing as great as the Gary Payton, Sean Kemp era to me.
Oh, yeah.
As a, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get a team back. I understand that the game is different now. I mean, they basically play from the 3-point line out.
Exactly.
And I don't know how excited I am about that, because it was the physical nature of basketball. It was the, you know, having the teams of that era with the Bad Boys and with New York with Patrick Ewing and John Starks, and then of course the greatest basketball player to ever live in Jeffrey Jordan. So all of that is to me is just, there's so many sports heroes, and my love has always gotten great and gotten great. That didn't sound very well at all, but yeah, I've loved this. I've loved sports. I love talking about sports, and that's kind of why we're doing this, is because you and I have sat around and we have talked sports together and been there like 2 hours later, and your wife was like, "Are you guys done yet?"
Yeah, we're still talking sports,
right?
Like,
so
I gotta go.
Hopefully we have some fun and give some people some excitement out there. And that's why we're doing this. And I'm really excited that you and I are going to take this little venture on together and put some content out there, and hopefully people like it.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to say is that, we used to watch the draft together when Pete and John first came together, and we thought, okay, here's who we're going to take. We're going to take this guy. I mean, he's the best guy on the board. And he would, I mean, we're shocked every time. We're like, what the heck? And they always turned out, we just, who was Bobby?
Right. Who exactly.
We're like, Bobby who, And
where did Richard Sherman come from? How did you know that this kid in the 5th round who was a receiver, is going to turn out to be one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever play the game?
And then, Cam, we're like, what the heck? Who is this guy? I mean,
exactly.
So many guys that we've drafted or they've drafted that we've had arguments about. We're like, what the heck? And we just finally quit even guessing.
Right. And Pete and John, we trust. It's kind of what I've been saying.
Exactly. So, sorry, I went off topic there.
No,
but,
you're fine.
The one thing I will let everybody know is that you and I have been friends for 21 years.
Oh, that's a long.
It is a long time.
It's a whole drinking age ago.
It is a whole drinking age. And we've been talking sports and smack for 21 years. And
exactly.
Trying to get each other's goat and have a good time with it. And we do love to talk about sports. We're fans. I mean, first and foremost, we're Seattle fans. When Seattle's out of the playoffs or out of the baseball, the Major League Baseball, when they're not in the playoffs, which has been forever.
I usually say baseball season's over.
Yeah, and so do I. I mean, I don't watch too many of the playoffs. I might watch a few of the final games, and I'm the same way with basketball. I don't watch basketball anymore since Seattle lost the Sonics. And the Seahawks, when they're done, I'll watch the Super Bowl, but I don't care about the rest of the games. I'm a Seattle sports fan.
And that I completely agree. That's the one thing that you and I have been constant on, is that, we are in this area. We love the teams. I spend so much time rooting and reading and getting as much knowledge. And I listen to sports talk radio pretty much religiously daily.
Yeah.
I have an hour commute every day back and forth. And so, and I'm in there and I'm listening to, to get as much knowledge on the team as I possibly can. So the teams, not just the team, so that, because I this is what I enjoy. It's kind of my hobby. So, yeah. So with that being said, Kevin, this week, 2 days, Seattle's drafting number 56, which if I had, I do not think that, and again, what you already said is that Pete and John always throw us a curveball, so they could be taking something at the 56 position. Yep. So let's kind of dive into a little bit of what let's not say exactly players, because I mean, everything I have read, I don't think I've read one report that's had the same player. But let's go position where you'd like to see him addressed with their first pick in the 2nd round. What are you thinking that they're going to do?
Well, you and I both agree that they're going to trade it. I mean, just
right.
They're going to try to pick up as many draft picks as possible, and that's why
I said the first pick. What do What do you think that they're going to do with the first pick? What position? And if you say punter or kicker, then we may have to end this stream now.
Yeah, no. Boy, that's a tough one because I still think we don't really have a ton of holes, in my opinion. I mean, offensive line, defensive line, cornerback, wide receiver. I mean,
exactly. So
those are.
Let me put it to this way, Kevin. If I put the GM hat on you, your pick number 60, let's say 66, 67, right, something like that. We trade down, we get a third round or a fourth round pick, something of that nature. But you're drafting first. What position are you looking at the most?
I'm looking at offensive line.
Okay.
I mean, and the reason why is because the whole, off-season drama that we've been going through, and it's been absolute torture for us fans. Drafting in the third round for an offensive lineman, there might not be one there that we need. So I think the second would be cornerback. If we can, either offensive line or corner. I mean, those would be my first two picks.
Well, I would agree with that. I think a center, most of all. Center. I mean, if you look at, I think there's two things that I would do. The first thing that I would do is I would go center and give at least Posick somebody that to challenge him at that position.
Correct.
And then second, I would draft for a future left tackle. Somebody that can sit behind Dwayne Brown, that can model his game after Dwayne Brown and become, every bit as great a player as Dwayne Brown can be. But I mean, we're asking a ton out of it.
That's a challenge right there, man. So
right,
you are talking about one of the best.
And then I think, I'm somewhat satisfied with the moves that they made at cornerback. I know I hear everybody saying that they're not, but I like, I like Desir. I like, Alexander. I love Reed Jr. I mean, I think that I even think that even Flowers, if he has another, if maybe he has a year where he bounces back again, considering this is his fourth and final year on his contract, right, that again, we could get something out of him. And then everybody's just, forgetting about Blair. When we went into the season last year, he was supposed to be our nickel corner.
Right.
He was supposed to be the guy, and then he blows out his knee, and it's like we've written off Blair, like he's not even gonna be, as good as they were saying he was going to be last year.
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with the guys that we have. I don't have an issue with the guys they just picked up. I just feel that we still need, if there's an elite corner, we need to look at it.
Elite in the second round is a pretty, even third round, yeah, is pretty good.
I mean, we found Richard Sherman in the fifth round.
We did, but he wasn't an elite at first.
No,
it took him some time under Pete and John, or right, Pete, and I think receiver is every bit as important. I think we have got two absolute studs with Metcalf, and I think we have another stud in Lockett. And then our third receiver, I mean, you and I have talked before that we both like are Sua and Swain, and
I love Swain.
Yeah, there's some like there, but they're saying that they are 17 receivers that have high draft grades, and I think getting a receiver versus a cornerback should be even greater need if we can pick up somebody that plays that slot, that can come in and can take some of the pressure off of them, Lockett and Metcalf, and give us some production out of that third receiver spot.
And the receiver was on my list. I mean, it's just
Yeah, I know you're not as high on it as I am. I think it's something that,
Well, and it goes back to the same thing. I think Freddie Swain and Ursula are both very talented young guys that haven't really been given a chance yet because David Moore was in kind of in the way. I boy,
let me ask you this, Kev. Would you bring Golden Tate back?
No, I would not.
You wouldn't bring.
No.
Hey, the donut shops are way more secure now. I think we wouldn't have any problem with that.
Yeah,
I would. No. I love how Golden plays.
I'm not saying that I don't like him. It wouldn't be my first. I'm not excited about it. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, if we look at some of the former Seattle players that are out there.
Yes.
Who is the first? Again, I'm putting the GM hat on you. Who's the first call you make? Who is the first guy you pick up the phone and you say, Richard, KJ, Earl, Golden? Who's that first call go to?
KJ.
KJ all day. We only have 4 linebackers under contract. You know that, right?
I do know that, but KJ and Bobby have been a dynamic duo forever. And
I cannot blame you for that at all. KJ would probably be at the top of my list too. And unfortunately,
I would say
he may not come back for the money.
Yeah, I would say Golden would probably be the second because I just can't see, the other two coming back, Sherman or Thomas.
Yeah, there would be a snowflake down under if that happened. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so I've been a fan of Golden. I like Golden Tate. I don't have anything against him. I just think either we draft another receiver or we let. I think Freddie Swain's going to be every day as good as Tyler Lockett.
So, are you comfortable with our tight ends? I mean, 100%. Might as well back.
100%. Very comfortable with tight ends. I think
I'm so excited to see what Colby Parkinson can do. That's where I'm looking.
Yeah, being injured all last year, I think it's going to be a tough first year. But you and I, we've had numerous conversations about the lack of throwing to tight ends over the last few years that just frustrate us, both of us, to no end. I'm kind of glad our OC is gone and we got a new one that hopefully will be using tight ends a little bit more. And be
I read an article today that Urban Meyer reached out to Russell Wilson about Darrell Bevell. Speaking of offensive coordinators, which I found odd that he would reach out to Russell Wilson, but
wow,
evidently wow was right. So tight ends you feel comfortable with. How about the defensive line? That's another big hot topic.
I'm not comfortable with the D tackles. I think we need another one.
Do we bring? There's another phone call we could make to a former Seahawk. You think Sheldon Richardson? Are we thinking Sheldon?
If we could get him on a minimum contract, yes, all day long.
He wouldn't drop down to $8 million for the Cleveland Browns, and they're supposed to win. They're supposed to be a contender in the AFC.
Right.
I don't know if we could get him for minimum.
No, I don't think so either. I like the Al Woods pickup. I've always been a fan of Al Woods.
I like Brian Monet. I think Brian Monet brings something good as well. I don't think we have to have such production out of the middle of our defensive line. I
100% agree with you. I do agree with you on that one. I don't think we have to have, do we really need another one? No. I think we have enough guys that can deal with that. I love the defensive ends. The only question is, the one big question mark is he going to jail or not going to jail? So,
but let's take his troubles out of the equation for a second. How awesome would that defensive line be with Alden on one side and number 43 on the other, Dunlap? I kind of when it came out, I at least had 2 days to dream about that, before the rug was pulled out from under my feet, because I think that would have been an amazing defensive line. And then in pass rush situations, having either Collier or Rasheem Green slide inside and give us absolutely some more pass rush from the interior,
right,
along with Puna. I do feel I feel better about the defensive line than I have in a while going into an off season with the moves.
Yeah, and I thought re-signing Benson was just a great job as well.
Oh yeah.
He was solid last year.
Absolutely. I mean, we have some solid guys. And
I never forgot about. I mean, I know we're talking about. I was going off the subject, so I'll just stop myself before
I. and Kerry Hyder Jr. This guy, he has said that he wants to model his game after Bennett.
Right.
And so if we have another guy that can play like Bennett and we have Dunlap, I mean, I felt good about the defensive line before we got on Alden because of Kerry Hyder Jr., because of Dunlap. And I think that we will get more pressure. And then, you know what? We can't talk about sacks and pressures on the quarterbacks without talking about number 33, because he is every bit a defensive line presence, as a linebacker presence, as a safety presence. Yeah. I think that he's worth every draft pick that we've given, and I think he's going to be worth every dollar that we give this guy, because I think that he is an amazing, amazing, once in a generation talent, and we are absolutely lucky to have him. Did it cost us a lot? Absolutely.
Yeah. No arguments. None. I think our safeties are both absolute amazing safeties. Absolutely. And then the backups. I mean, I think we got a good grasp on the secondary.
Yeah. Right now I think we're thin at linebacker. I didn't realize today until I actually sat down and looked at our linebackers, but it's Bobby, it's Barton, it's Brooks, and Ben Burkervin is basically backing up all three of them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, as great as he was for you, Dub, I haven't seen him do very much in the pros.
No, but he's been outstanding on special teams. I mean, him and Barton both have been just outstanding on special teams.
Yeah.
And so I've been a fan of BBK's forever. But, I didn't think he was even get drafted. So it was a pleasant surprise for me. And, I'm glad he's on our special teams and he's a backup.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm very excited for this year to see what we're going to do. I'm excited about the draft, and I don't think free agency is even close to being done for us.
No,
Al Woods may not even make this team if they've got to cut him. They'll move on from him just that fast, and if they need to make room for somebody else. So
yeah, I actually. My biggest concern this year is still running back.
Running back?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, we got Alex Collins back. Are you kidding me?
I know, but Carson can't stay healthy.
No.
Penny can't stay healthy.
Nope. And Homer and DJ Dallas.
Yeah, DJ.
I don't think we don't have a running back that has been we don't have a running back that I feel absolutely 100% comfortable with.
I don't either. And I like the Collins pickup just as a backup and a bruiser. I mean, that guy is when he hits you, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving side of him or Carson, man.
Absolutely.
But that's my biggest fear, is that same thing's going to happen again. Is I don't know if you go out and draft another running back, but
It very well could. But I mean, what are you going to get in those mid rounds?
Well, we got Carson in the 7th round, man.
That is very true. Absolutely 100% true, Kevin.
And
Carson wasn't Carson until second or third year in the league.
True.
Because he was playing behind Marshawn.
Yep.
So we don't have that kind of time to wait for. I mean, I think DJ Dallas showed some great things.
Yep.
I'd like to see some more out of him.
Well, and we both agree that Rashard Penny, if he could stay healthy, he is a difference maker. If he's
got a home run threat to him every time he touches the ball.
Exactly. If he can stay on the field.
Absolutely. All right, let's shift gears to something that's near and dear to your heart, Kevin, more so than mine. But you know what? They've got me excited. They've got me interested. We're having a great start to the season. We're going to talk a little M's. Man, they're playing the dastardly Houston Astros right as we speak. Last time I looked at it, it was 0-0 in the third inning. So it looks like Marco's kind of bulldogging in, and we're gonna ride his back a little bit here. So what do you give the success as of the current situation to the Seattle Mariners right now?
The bullpen.
Right.
100%. I mean, if you look at the games that we've been able to come back on and win, have been all in when our bullpen's pitching and their bullpen's pitching. I mean, our bullpen has been solid, so much better than I thought they would ever be. I like the picks, with Montero and Middleton, and I thought Graveman has just been on fire. Then you got Will Vest, who I shocked the heck out of me, who's just been unbelievable. And I mean,
I don't think our starting rotation's bad either. I was excited with Paxton, and then when Paxton went down, it kind of deflated that balloon for me, because I was looking at our 6-man rotation going, wow, this is pretty impressive for a Seattle team to have a 6-man rotation heading into the season. We'll be able to give guys extra rest and be able to take them deeper so that we don't have these lagging arms. And then Paxton goes down, in the first game. I'm not gonna lie, I cried a tear, Kevin. Just one, but I cried it.
I don't mind the starting rotation. You just asked me what my biggest why we're doing as well as we're doing. And I mean, you look all the way around. I mean, the top 3 in the lineup has just been on fire. Mm-hmm. Then you got, the starting rotation's been solid. It hasn't been the most amazing, 6-man rotation, but they've had some great efforts from each and every one of those guys. I watched a game with Dunn the other day that just pitched an outstanding game. Marco's last game against the Dodgers, I mean, that was unbelievable. Then you got, YK's pitched a couple of really good games this year. And then, now my brain's gonna fade on me.
I put you on the spot, Kevin.
Our
brains are old. It's hard for everything to come process through.
Yeah, I know. The old guy effect, yeah.
Right.
But there's a lot to like. There's a lot of young guys, a lot of veteran guys. Some of the young guys, we were talking about them, earlier today. I'm going to call him T.Y. France. I know it's Ty France, but that guy is just a hitter. He is unbelievable hitter.
It's amazing that Ty France was kind of a throw-in.
Oh no, he might have sounded like a throw-in, but man, they wanted Ty France bad.
Did they? Well, see,
in all reality, Taylor Chamel was kind of he wasn't the most sought after guy, and he's up there. The pitcher, I'm going to draw a blank. I can't think of his last name. They picked up, who's been on the injured reserve, who will be coming back this year. He throws 100 miles an hour. I mean, It was probably one of the best trades we've ever done. Luis Trent's has been fantastic.
Dipoto has done an amazing job.
Yes.
He has taken this team and he has reshaped it, and he has did, I honestly, if you want to draw parallels, he basically did what John and Pete did and got rid of a bunch of baggage.
Yep.
And brought back some incredible players. I mean, our farm league was in the tank.
Oh yeah.
It was so bad.
And we were on the bottom of the league, man.
Yeah. And we bring back all these players and now our farm, what we've got, what is it 3 in the top 25 prospects in all of baseball.
I don't.
Kelnick is number 3 and Julio's number 5, and then we have a pitcher like 15. I can't remember exactly. Again, man, I can't always have all the names at the
I know. And we were fans, but we're just like, what was that guy's name again?
Right.
So
exactly. But so I look at this, and here's the thing. I even look at things and I equate it to the Seahawks season last year. And we were sitting there and we were like, well, if we could ever get our defense going, they're going to go back and they'll be as equal to the offense, and that will carry us through. Little did we know that the offense was going to fall apart towards the end either. But the simple fact is that, we've got 3 players that are hitting basically. You got France, Haniger, and why am I blanking on the third one?
Kyle Seager, man.
Kyle Seager.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of the forgotten hero there, isn't he? Always is. We're not used to him batting or hitting anything this early in the season.
Yeah, usually he's not. He's in the tank this part of the year, yeah.
Exactly. So
it's been a fun ride. And are we gonna make the playoffs? Are we gonna be
Kevin, I think we had to talk about that. Because if that's your case, if that's what you're saying, and that we don't are we going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Then why are we not? And I guess this is kind of how
don't even go there. I don't even talk about it.
I'm gonna go there.
No, don't even bring it up.
How can we then hold on to a chip, a trade chip that we have that is at its highest peak right now in Mitch Haniger, and at least not go down that road and see what we can get to keep the farm system loaded and bring up Kelnick, bring up Julio Rodriguez, bring up these players that right now are stuck behind him, which are supposed to be absolutely great. Why are we not even thinking about that? If 3 months down the line, if we're a 500 ball club and Mitch is still batting 314 and he's still being the most amazing player that we have on the team, why are we not making that trade? You tell me, Kevin.
It's a hard one for me because I think Mitch is, and he was, when we got him when we traded for him, he was a 5-tool player. Mm-hmm. He's still a 5-tool player. He might have been hurt the last few years. Is he holding people back? Right, not right this second, I don't think. I just don't think the other two are ready yet.
Did you not watch the same spring training I did? Because Kelnick sure looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm not going to argue with Kelnick coming up. I'm not. I just don't know if Rodriguez is ready yet.
Okay, but
he might be a year, might be 2 years out. I know we're going to have a different agreement. You're going to disagree with me. It's just my opinion. I mean.
Oh, I do agree that I think Kelnick deserves to be up now, and I think that you look it does it not make your mouth salivate a little bit looking at having Kelnick, Rodriguez, and Kyle Lewis in the middle, and looking at probably one of the greatest outfields if they perform up to what their expectations are. It just is. I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
Right. But you also got this thing called DH.
Right.
Haniger would make a great DH. So, and you need a 4th outfielder. So
yeah, I think that guy that Trammell has been.
He's not. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I can't. I like Taylor Trammell. I mean, I like all these guys, but I am a huge Haniger fan. I think we'd be silly not to listen to offers.
Exactly.
I'm not going to argue that. Do I want to trade him? 100? No way. No.
Maybe I'm just not as emotionally invested because I look at him going, oh man.
Well,
it's a sure shiny nice piece that we could probably fetch, a contender like, the Dodgers or like, Boston or whoever that feels that they're a outfielder away from making the playoffs or making it to the World Series, and they offer you the sun and moon, which we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
I think that we would be silly.
Well, we're silly if we don't listen.
Right.
It would have to be, in my opinion, an unbelievable offer.
There's only one player right now in the Seattle sports area that I wouldn't even listen to trades on. And
that's Kelnick.
No, that's I said Seattle sports. I didn't say.
Okay. I thought you were talking about baseball.
No, that's Russell Wilson. No matter how bad he wants to talk, I don't see me trading him. That's getting rid of Russell is like getting rid of one of my children. I would rather get rid of one of them before I get rid. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I know your kids.
But no, I think that if we could get back a slew for Mitch Haniger, we've got to make that trade because we're not playing for the World Series this year. We're not playing for the World Series next year. But I tell you what, by 2023.
Well, I'm going to kind of argue with you that next year.
Really?
Yeah.
You think we have enough horses to get in the races with the Houstons and the Yankees and the Red Sox? I know the Yankees are playing good right now, but they're the Yankees. They always turn it around.
We got two bullpen pieces that are both on injured reserve that both throw 100 miles an hour.
Okay.
We have Kelnick coming up. We have Cal Riley coming up. Rodriguez coming up. I don't know if Rodriguez is going to make it this year, but it'll be hard not to see him come up next year.
Right.
I agree. He will be a September call up, 100%. Mm-hmm. And then they'll let him see what happens this year. I just think that the pieces are in place. We have three pitchers that are basically in the top 100 of MLB players. I know two of them are. And the one that's starting pitchers are the ones going to hurt, and then we need that person that will be the catalyst. So here's what I would like. I would like to see them re-sign Kyle Seager.
Are you talking a family reunion? Are you, sir?
I am 100% talking a family reunion, and love to see them bring in his brother Corey next year to be our shortstop. Now, is that going to happen? I don't.
You know what? Here's the deal. The only way we haven't been spending money. I mean, the Mariners are not spending money, and if you want to be in playoff contention and World Series contention, you're going to have to spend some money. And Corey Seager next to Kyle Seager makes a ton of sense. Even though I probably would have been beating this Kyle Seager trade, but I don't see a third baseman that we're particularly holding back like we are in the outfield.
Well, be honest with you, Ty France is a third baseman, but he's played extremely well at second base. So I'm not arguing that he can't continue playing an incredible second base. I think the pieces aren't that far away to make us, a serious World Series run. I was going to say Super Bowl run, but World Series run.
We're a few months away from that.
I really believe, in all reality, we could potentially be a playoff team this year.
I don't. I completely agree.
Are we going to win the World Series this year? I don't know. I'm telling you,
in a tournament, anything can happen.
Exactly. I mean, they split with Boston, 2 wins and 2 losses. I mean, Boston's a great team.
They split with the Dodgers.
They split with the Dodgers so far. So, it's hard to say. I mean, they're playing really good ball, and it's fun to watch. That's what I'm saying. And can they keep it up all season? I don't know, but they have reinforcements coming up, and then there's a trade deadline. I mean, can they pick up some players at the trade line themselves that might add to their,
I think if you were going to pick somebody up, who would you pick up? Or not who? What position would it be? Starting pitching? Is that where you would go, or would you get another bat? Would we get a?
You have to have a bat. We need a bat. We need a.
How about a catcher that can hit?
Well, have you seen Cal Riley hit?
Yeah. Okay, then I mean, there's got to be something. Maybe we get a first baseman that can finally hit, even though we got a Gold Glover over there. He can't get above. He's not hitting either.
Yeah, I mean,
but we paid a lot of money for him to not hit.
I know.
Evans got to bring the bat.
Yeah, I'm still sad about Nelson Cruz. I mean, that guy, who would ever have thought that guy would still be on fire? I mean, that guy, he's a stud. So I just think we need a veteran bat that is solid. And if we had one to DH, let him play the field every once in a while. But that, in my opinion, that's the one thing we're missing.
Can we put on our dream hat and say if the Angels continue to tank, that possibly we could be doing a little fishing for trout? I mean, could that possibly happen? You want? I mean, we're dreaming now. We've put on the GM hat, which they, heaven forbid they ever open up the Mariners front office and let us in and everybody clear the room, because boy, that would shore up a DH spot in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I don't think the trade will ever happen. I don't think Anaheim would let him go, but anything's possible, man.
Anything's possible. Kevin, I think our first show is probably in the books.
Yeah, I think so.
I had an awesome time. Same time next week. Shall we plan on it?
Same time. Let's do it again. Let's keep having fun, and we'll know who we picked.
Oh, we will. Well, I guess we'll break that down. All right, brother. Peace.
All right. Have a good one.